everybody was the upper echelon was a little upset, that the people that were receiving this $1,000 didn't come back and say.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and that's what we often find, that business owners are too busy working in their business as an active member of their business to work on their business, on those things, like figuring out, where am I paying too much? And also, who are the experts? Who should I talk with? Because Google, you can find anything you want on the internet. Is it going to make every company look good? Yeah, it is, because it's sponsored by them. Right. So fortunately, our company puts experts in the field. So I have been in the industry for 13 years and I have seen kind of it all.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. We have something very nice today, and for many of you that are a small or mid-level business and you see a lot of costs coming your way, or maybe you're even looking and saying, where's all the money going in your business? What are we spending it on? Maybe it's time to reassess what you are paying for. With the way the economy today is, we need every penny we can get to grow our business, to hire staff, and to move forward in 2024. I want to welcome Kristina Meyer to the show. Thank you for being here. And she is part of she is part of Get Beyond, and she is going to share what exactly that is and how that can help you reduce your cost so you can use your money for other important things, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. I am so glad when I heard about you through our networking friends, and we know a few of them together, and they were talking about small businesses and what they're paying, and sometimes they're not even aware. And maybe you should have what you want to do is just go through and even down to the trash. And maintenance and whatever. Maybe we can renegotiate, or maybe it's time to move to another company because you've had it for 5 or 6 years, maybe insurance companies, phone, telecommunications, and you may find out, like we do, if we do this in our home, we can reduce our cable cost, our trash. Do you understand? Our lawn service. So, all right, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
And it's exciting here to share this for businesses. But I want you to share what is Get Beyond and maybe go into more detail than what I just did.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
So Get Beyond, we are a business service provider, and we work with small and mid-sized businesses like you mentioned, and we help with several different aspects of the business. So we provide credit card processing services, also known as merchant services by business owners. We also do payroll processing. And we have some other things like e-commerce, so helping people transition into the 21st century and be able to offer online shopping, which is really important, and online ordering for restaurants. So we actually are a newer company, but we have a long history. So our company was founded by Bob Carr. And Bob Carr was actually my boss at the company that we both worked at before he had founded. And when that company was sold, it was acquisitioned. He decided to do this all over again for a real purpose, and that was to be.
So it was the same business that you were in in the past?
Yes, and so 1997 are kind of the roots of that company. And now in 2017, that company that we both worked at before was acquisitioned, and then Get Beyond started in 2018. So we doing the same thing we've always done, and just started it for a new purpose, and that is to be an actual benefactor to a nonprofit, 501c3 public charity that's called Give Back. So we're doing something that a lot of business owners really kind of grind their teeth about. It's kind of an icky part of business because although it is necessary, it's also looked at as a necessary evil because Merchants, aka business owners, have to pay fees in order to accept payment.
Right.
And that's not cashless payment. And that is hard for them to understand why that's necessary and why they have to pay those fees. And so we started doing this kind of dirty business for a really incredible purpose. And I'll tell you more about that later, but yeah.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Everybody, I will have to say, my transactions are mostly through
Card.
plastic.
Absolutely.
Right, are online. I never thought I would be those because I was kind of
Sure.
the Dave Ramsey,
Yeah.
have cash.
Yeah.
And when everything changed the last 3 years,
Yeah.
and I found it very convenient,
Very.
but dangerous.
Sure.
Right?
It
Being
has risk.
electronic, going through your account quickly on
Yeah.
things, not being aware. And you understand this with businesses. It's almost like you just, where does it come from? You just drop your
Tap
phone
and
with
go.
Apple Pay and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people are starting to look at, they need to look at
Yeah.
where it's all going.
Absolutely.
And business, especially with all these kind of fees, and you know a lot of small businesses
Yes.
that are probably, so share with me when you go to them,
Yes.
and what are you saying to them to get you to basically get you to turn, and I'm like, okay, you can do what?
Right, exactly.
Save costs, because a lot of people
Yes.
that maybe the accountant's writing checks, they don't even realize that, but the owner
They
is
sure do.
looking at these expenses and don't
Yeah.
realize
Yes.
what's going on. Does that make
Yes.
sense? I hear that all the time.
Absolutely, and this is one of those costs that is at the higher, part of their outgoing expenses each month, because most people are paying with their debit card, with a credit card, and it really does affect the business. And like I said, it is a necessary evil. There are a lot of people who are not going to just put up a cash-only sign and hope for the best, because what we're seeing now, especially post-COVID, is that businesses are taking about 85 to 95% card payment versus cash.
I know.
Unless they're in a B2B environment where they're receiving checks and they were used to doing business that way, and that didn't change. So it really did increase after COVID, and we don't see that that's going to change. So what we really want to do is give reassurance to our customers that they have an option that isn't scary anymore. Our industry is unregulated, so there is no
That's
one.
hard for me to believe.
I know.
With the way transactions are going all day long. You know what I'm saying?
It is hard to believe. So the processing industry is the last sect of the banking world left unregulated. So Visa and MasterCard are enormous companies, Discover and American Express as well. They're enormous companies with a ton of money, and I don't think that we will see regulation in the industry. So I guess maybe I'll look at this video 10 years from now and bite my, eat my
your
words.
tongue.
Yeah.
Well, I
But-
mean, and why is that? I mean, what do you think there should be, or do you think you like
Not
that you're
being,
able
yeah,
to?
being in the industry, I would say, of course, it wouldn't be beneficial for me, but there are a few companies doing it really well. I think we're really the only ones doing it the best way. But there are a lot of companies, unfortunately, our industry has a very bad stigma because there are a lot of companies doing this for businesses very poorly. So what they do is they give them a promise they don't keep. So they can, because we're unregulated, they can say whatever they want, but contractually they can do whatever they want. So they can take advantage. And
They can add fees,
and
that
they
you don't
often
know.
do, and they
Right.
often do, and that's the really sad thing. I
Yeah.
meet with people a lot of the times that are like, I'm in a good place, and I'm like, when's the last time that you did a health check on it? Like, are you certain? And they don't even receive a statement anymore in the mail because the company's gone green, and so they don't offer it. So they haven't looked at it in a while. I just met with a company that is overpaying $24,000 a year.
Wow.
$24,000 a year, and he believed that he was in a really good position because he doesn't really like salespeople. But I kind of just worked on him because I knew who his provider was. I know their history. I know how they work.
Right.
And so I stopped him about 4 times to see him before he uncrossed his arms and decided to
Right.
chat a little bit. And then when he did, when we received those statements, he was very frustrated because that's $24,000 gone out of the business for how many years we don't know. We're going to hope it wasn't more than a few. But that money is going to go directly back into the business, back into him, maybe doing some things to improve his business, to get new employees, to be able to do some really quality things that will improve his business. So.
All right, so let's just back it up
Yeah.
for people my viewers out there are like, okay, what is it? Get Beyond
Yes.
is it similar like explain that one more time.
Yes.
So I understand when we're talking, but Get Beyond is so when you swipe
Yeah.
your credit card,
Yes.
it gets put into a holding house,
yeah,
right?
well,
and then it gets distributed.
it's
you're the holding.
Yeah, we're a processor. So what we
and
do,
everybody has one.
yes, everyone who takes payment has one because you're not allowed to work with the card brands directly.
Okay.
So basically, and we don't care who you bank with. We're happy if you're happy with your bank, with your credit union, whoever you're, keeping your wherever you're keeping your money. But what we do is provide a service to get from the customer the money into your bank account. So at that point of sale, we offer point of sale solutions. We have tons of partners that, at a restaurant, it's going to be a different POS system, point of sale system, than what you'll see at a retail shop.
Right.
So we work with all of those different providers. There are some that are proprietary we can't work with, but often we are integrated into those systems. So in the customer facing side of it, easy as you said, you can tap, you can insert, you can swipe. Those devices, we can provide those, and those work with the point of sale systems, or if they simply have what we call a standalone terminal, just a little terminal, we provide those. And then once that approval is given by the issuer, the issuing bank, whether that be your bank, your credit union, or a Visa, MasterCard,
Right.
Then we get those approvals and we push the money to the Federal Reserve once that's cleared. In 4 a.m. when the Federal Reserve clears money and pushes it out to the financial institutions, we make sure that whole process takes place. So then the business can conveniently get that in their bank account the next morning, which is really important to be able to run their business.
Well, of course.
Yes.
And I'm glad you cleared it up. And for
Yes.
people that are business owners, or maybe you have a family members that are now business owners and
Yes.
you're watching this, at least you can, okay, so now we know where we're going with this. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
all right. And you did say that you saved them $24,000 to this company. And I will tell you, I just had a conversation with somebody a couple weeks back where they discovered that they were paying an extra $1,000 a month
Yeah.
on a phone line. They
Yes.
they started off with all these phone lines, 1-800 numbers, all that
Absolutely.
kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, as technology changed, people weren't using, nobody was using the 1-800 number, and nobody knew to take it off. And so when they found out somebody, what is this $1,000 for?
Right.
And on this telecommunications, is it called that, or on a and they're like, everybody's like, well, we don't know, but they've been paying it.
Terrible.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh, that was for this.
Right.
And then they figured out the years.
Yes, that had been happening.
Right, because
Absolutely.
everybody uses their cell phone.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to use a 1-800 number pretty much today, correct?
Right.
But there's a lot of systems that have been set up, and when you change your program, they just change those lines and they just move them.
Yeah.
And nobody goes through. It's like kind of go, what are you doing with this green line? What are you doing with this blue line? They don't tell you that
No.
because they just want you to
Right.
to ching. So everybody was the upper echelon was a little upset, that the
Right.
people that were receiving this $1,000 didn't come back and say,
Of course. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And that's what we often find, that business owners are too busy working in their business as an active member of their business to work on their business, on those things, like figuring out, where am I paying too much? And also, who are the experts? Who should I talk with? Because Google, you can find anything you want on the internet. Is it going to make every company look good? Yeah, it is,
Right.
because it's sponsored by them.
Right.
So fortunately, our company puts experts in the field. So I have been in the industry for 13 years, and I have seen kind of it all. I still get puzzling things that come up, probably every month. And I talk with my team, and we're like, this is out of left field. What is this? But we have seen a lot of things, and we understand that this is a critical part of their business, especially, like I said, with cash flow. They need that money in their bank the next day. And a lot of my owners have said, it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it. And I'm like, but when's the last time you pulled the Band-Aid off to look? Because
Exactly.
they don't like it. They don't
Right.
really want to mess with it. But just because the money's moving, maybe not all of it that you should get that's for the business is making it to the bank account, because the fees are probably, if they haven't looked at it in a long time, their fees are probably have trickled up. And that's I'm
going to go back to something so simple as trash removal.
Yes. Yes.
With the virtual world, their trash wasn't needed to get picked up as
Yep.
much as they did because they didn't have, and everybody's gone kind of paperless.
Sure.
So finally, somebody asked the question. It's like, do we looking at it
Yeah.
like you just did,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, we don't need to have that much trash
Right.
remover anymore. And that saved them
Yes.
thousands of dollars, thousands a year too. And
Yes.
everybody's like, so when we had this conversation, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already heard so many people say that they've
Yes.
been looking at, because with the recession, I don't care if they want
Yes.
to call it something else,
Yes.
but with the recession, people are looking at cost.
And inflation's real. We can all,
Right.
we all know that. So it's time to get critical. You know, change or die is an unfortunate term in business, but it is true. It is time to figure out where you can become more effective in your business. And it is scary because you don't know who's going to give you the right information. But
Right.
our company is so dedicated to that. We actually have 10 promises that we make to our clients that aren't just promises, they're actually legally binding. So we come to the table with 10 things that we're willing to do for our clients who've given us the opportunity to work with them. We don't take that for granted. So one of those things is that if you don't add services, we don't add cost. And that's different in our industry, unfortunately, but
Well,
it is.
It is. And
Yeah.
people mostly want to make sure, look, it was set up, we're covered under this insurance. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And
you
it's,
need to.
they feel protected. Unfortunately, they're wrong. They feel protected because they think that they can't be taken advantage of because they probably believe it's regulated, the industry. Why would they even think otherwise? But it's not. And unfortunately, a lot of people in our industry, a lot of companies in our industry are not, they're not doing well by merchants.
Well,
So.
and also too, people look at the name and, well, they wouldn't. You know
Oh, of
how it
course.
is, brands.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that to my business.
I've learned that too. All right, so let's talk about Get Beyond. We did what you provide.
Yes.
And what is your range before, so our audience knows what size business are we
Yeah.
talking? Multi-million? Are we talking? What are we talking?
Yes, and multi-million and down. So we basically, there's not a lot of companies that will be too big for us to work with, but if we're talking about Meyer, we're talking about Walmart, those companies are probably going to be outside of our range because we
Well,
are
that's not
still
your
a
ideal
startup.
client, right,
They aren't.
yeah.
Our ideal client is, you know, where do you boutique shop? You know, where do you get your car repaired? My specialty is car repair shops. I love working with them.
Right.
Hardworking people, I love to help. So we basically, we can help some very, very small businesses, but usually solopreneurs is what we call it. Usually that one person company is going to be maybe too small, but if someone's processing less than about $5,000 in volume a month, they probably will have better options that aren't us. But we offer customer service that is just absolute paramount in our industry. We have people in Louisville, Kentucky who are trained for months before they're allowed to answer the phone by themselves because we want them to really know our industry and the complexities and things that merchants are facing. So when they call us, they can be helpful. So we offer local service. There's about 6 of us that work here in the Grand Rapids area.
There is? Wow,
Yes.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then and that's our team here. And then we have, you know, across the country, we have hundreds of people that are business advocates for Beyond.
And there's something else very special about it. You'd mentioned in the beginning is that you really partner with
Yes.
nonprofits. Can you share?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to.
The Give Back program. It's
Yes.
All right.
It is. So that's my why. That's why I work at Get Beyond. So Give Back is a 501c3 nonprofit that was started in 2003 by our founder of our company, Bob Carr. And Bob was given a scholarship in I'm going to get this wrong, but in the 1970s, he was given a scholarship as a high school graduate by the Women's Club of Lockport, Illinois, who believed in him enough to invested in his college education. And it was a surprise to him. And he came from a large family, I think 9 siblings, and his parents, weren't pushing him to go to college. That was kind of a waste of time in their opinion. And he really wanted to get an education. So when they gave him that scholarship, he said, I'd never felt so invested in my life, and I knew when one day I would be able to give back, I would do it through scholarships. So the organization is completely focused, and its sole purpose is to help underprivileged youth get through college, and now we have career paths and tech school programs. But what we have is almost 2,000 kids who've received these scholarships,
Wow. Okay.
and we have debt-free college graduates who most have experienced homelessness, foster care, have been in the foster care program, or have had incarcerated parent or parents. So
those are the criteria you usually focus on?
They're not the criteria. We are full Pell Grant criteria is the kids have to qualify for a full Pell Grant, but over 50% of our recipients have experienced the other things that I mentioned. So we really try to get kids whose passion is school, like that's what they focus on, because unfortunately they're born into circumstances that are, tremendously hard.
Correct.
And so we find these kids who thrive in school. They apply through our program and they get a scholarship that will change the trajectory of their lives and often generations of their families. So 23,000 kids will age out of the foster care program every year. And 30
in West
some odd
Michigan, or
in the country.
23,000?
23,000 kids will age out of the foster care program and become at risk for homelessness. And over 30% of them will not graduate high school.
Isn't
when
that
they
sad?
age. It's extremely sad.
And nobody's giving them a path to take care of themselves.
Yes.
Because you're reaching an age. And I realize that, foster parents, most of them are really wonderful and they try to do their best. But I think I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've dealt with other nonprofits that deal with the homelessness of foster care children. And they just get, once they turn it, the money gets turned off.
Yes.
And nobody's given them, prepared them.
For, the future.
Like you and I might have went off to,
Exactly.
we knew people. My kids went off to college. I
Yes.
dropped them off at, see ya.
Absolutely,
And they
yes.
had then 4 years there.
Yes.
And not to know where you're going.
And not to have a network of people who support you because they don't.
Right.
And 70%, the statistic has probably been updated, but 70% of kids who experience the foster care system will actually have their children go through the foster care system as well, which is astounding because it's a cycle. And so what we're doing is helping remove kids from that cycle and give them a hope and a future. And some of the stories that we've heard of our scholars, because there's books, Bob's written several books and he talks specifically about some of the scholars. I mean, they really didn't have a future. Some of them, one of them specifically, who became the president of the student body of Rowan University, lived out of a tote. He lived out of a tote. He didn't have any family. He moved from couch to couch. And we put him into school and he became the president of the student body, world changer.
How do you find those kids?
So that's a great question.
They're adults by the time you find them because they're
well,
out of
actually,
foster
no,
care.
we actually do get them. Our goal is to get them in the 8th grade or as a freshman because our program does come with mentorship.
Okay.
So they get into a program that they will actually have a network of other students that they're bound to because they actually have to get involved and they mentor them to make sure that they're prepared for the scholarship. So we actually have an 87% graduation rate with these students that receive the scholarship, and the national average today is less than 40% of people who start college will finish it, and our students are more than double that. So these kids are given the actual path and they're given mentors, the network of the students, and they really guide them the whole way, and they make sure that their course load is correct, that they're going to be prepared for,
they're going to be successful.
They're going to be successful.
Even if it's community college.
Exactly.
Is it a university or can they go into a trade? Can they go into community college?
That's a great question. And so basically the way that the program started was that we had partner universities. These universities were willing to give us as an organization, they were willing to give us discounted rate for those students because they knew they were going to be great students. They just wanted them in the university.
Right.
So they were given drastically discounted rate, but we were actually paying in advance for those scholarships. So we were paying 4 years in advance of that student making it to them. So they had that as an advantage. The university was receiving funds for a student they hadn't even yet got, but they also knew when they got that student, they would be an excellent student. So those partnership universities, that's how it started. And now things have really opened up because now we're working with, it would cost about $4 million to open a new state as the organization was young. It would take that much money to open up a new state with universities that would partner. And things have changed quite a bit since then, where we have different partnerships and things look differently. So the scholars, like I said, they need to be eligible for a full Pell Grant, which means they're low income.
Right.
But the giveback.ngo is where you can go to find out more information of where the scholarships are available and who can apply.
How many do you have? Do you have the statistics on how many students are currently in college, going into college, that you guys are funding?
So
this year?
right now we have over 1,400 kids who are in the program, and there's
Wow, that's a
yes,
lot.
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So changing the lives of literally, and so our you know, and some of those kids are they're still in school, they're still in the program, moving forward toward that scholarship.
So let's recap. Okay.
Yes.
So Get Beyond is a for-profit
Yes.
business that help businesses relook at their what they're paying out every monthly and to try to save them money and costs.
Absolutely.
And do that. Okay. So that's it. And then the money that you get for making a profit.
Yes.
From that company, you started this nonprofit. Am I having this right?
Yeah.
That are going to help because Bob.
Yeah.
Went through, wanted to help.
Give back.
And give to these children the best opportunity he could, and he saw this as if we can
The
help
best way to do
educate
it.
them
Absolutely.
through these foster kids that may not, and you get them young,
Yes.
so they get ready like eighth
Prepared.
grade, right?
Mhm.
So they're prepared, and college
Yeah.
is not a big scary because they've been preparing for this for like 5 years.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be, the visiting colleges, this is
Yeah.
meeting people and having mentors and say, this is going to be no problem, Julie, or no problem,
Yes.
Ryan. We're going to be when I get into Grand Valley, and we're going to be doing, do
Right.
you understand? We're going to
Yes.
be going on a campus tour, and we're going to get you with other people, and you're going to you're going to take you for classes. I can't even imagine what that would feel like if you're like, okay, especially if you're a foster kid and you have nobody helping you.
Absolutely. Yes.
You feel alone. And so we're going to walk you through this. And once you get in and start understanding the system,
Yeah.
then you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Then you're going to
absolutely.
be taken off. I'm like, I can handle this. Because you are
Yes.
technically an adult.
Yes.
You
and
better start making decisions because nobody's making them for you besides
Yes.
helping you.
Absolutely.
But you're taking care of the financial part, and that's big part of
Huge.
Get Beyond.
Yes.
Did I have
and-
that right?
Yes, absolutely. You did a great job.
Okay, I'm
So-
really excited about that because I
Yes,
know
it's a
what
big
it is.
deal.
I mean, I came from a middle class, and I had to pay for my
Yes,
college, but
same.
it wasn't what it costs today. And
Yes.
but I thought I should have been better prepared. But a mentor would have been nice, and I love it when I see the
Yes,
mentorship. People
absolutely.
that have gone before you. This is how it's going to feel like. We're going to go visit
Exactly,
these colleges.
yes.
We're going to find the best one.
Yeah.
Like I had one son that went to Michigan State, and the other one didn't like Michigan State. It was too big, and he went to Eastern,
Yeah.
which was smaller.
Yeah.
And he loved it. It was kind of like a huge high school. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Sure.
And then other kids have gone to U of M, and they love that, and that's
Right.
all over the city.
Right.
So it's all different kids, and maybe
Yes.
private schools or whatever. Okay, so for all of my audience out there that are looking at this, I'm like, you know what? This would be something to share in my church. Maybe that'd come and help you speak on that.
Yes.
Which is a really great idea because you're learning about that. Where can they reach you? And if I was a small business, maybe I want to do a nice inventory of what I'm paying out.
Absolutely.
Because I'd like to pay my employees more.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, and what we're doing doesn't cost merchants more. We often are able to provide such a value at a reduced cost
Right.
and still do something so amazing and have this philanthropic partner. So Give Back is our largest stakeholder in the company. So we are really tied to this charity, and it's not going to change. A lot of people are like, well, that's nice that you're doing that, but I don't want to pay more. Well, that's not how we do it. So we really exist for this purpose. And so you can go to our websites and check out getbeyond.com. You can go to the charity's website, which is giveback.ngo. And
Yeah,
then,
I
of
saw a lot of
course,
testimonies.
yes, yeah. And then if anyone would want to get in contact with me as a local person here to West Michigan, they could always reach me at my email. Should I go ahead and give that?
Yes, give your new company.
Yeah,
Please do.
so my email is Kristina, which starts with a K, so it's Kristina .Meyer, Meyer, @getbeyond.com.
Right, and we'll have that link in the video when we post it out.
Awesome.
But I really am excited about that. And I'm so glad. And I understand where people are like, well, you're going to charge us more to help this nonprofit. A lot of people today want to give back.
They
And they
do.
don't know where to give back. And why
Yes.
not give it back to these kids and start them young and get them on the path, and they can be
Amazing.
successed adults, so they can buy all your services, right? They can
Exactly, they can be
business.
successful people in the community,
Right.
Because a lot of this is a forgotten sect of our community is foster care children, and it's so sad because they have so much value, and that's what we're doing is really fostering that value that they have and believing in them and mentoring them and walking alongside them. So for me, one of the biggest revelations of this work that we do was that I don't just get up and go to work every day to provide for my family, my two boys. I get to help thousands of kids I've never met or never will meet have a future, and that means a lot to me.
Yeah, and it feels good to come in the room and, you know, and we know some of these kids end up doing things that gets them into trouble, and why not have them where, you know, we don't want to build more prisons.
No,
we want to build more family
absolutely,
homes and communities.
absolutely.
And, you know, we want stronger communities.
Yes.
We don't want, you know what I'm saying?
There's such value here, and it's so great to be a part of an organization that sees that and that wants to make a difference.
All right, we want to thank Kristina Meyer for being here today.
Thank you so much.
From Get Beyond and sharing your services and your
Yes.
mission. And I'm sure that more people are going to learn more about you. You're great on the
Thank you
show.
so
Thank
much.
you. All right, this is Pamela Keim from Grand Tap Media. We will catch you next time. Take care, everyone.